What's up, Warsheep Warriors, and welcome back to the Warsheep Podcast, where we break down the truth like no one else can, y'all. Today, we're about to dive deep into a particular video that, honestly, I find very interesting. And listen, we just had a recent second attack that went up against our former president, Donald Trump, who is running for office currently. Now, how many attempts are they going to have on this man's life before people start to wake up and realize that perhaps he is not the person that they perceive him to be on mainstream media platforms? The person who Democrats were to describe as close to being like Hitler, or somebody who is racist toward Black Americans or African Americans, whatever you want to call them. Me personally, I call them melanated individuals, melanated people, right? So identifying this, right, people are going to start to wake up to what the truth truly is. Is the truth what they tell you, or can you question it? Do you need to perceive what reality truly is, or is it false reality? That's what we're going to all dive deep into, and we're going to use Piers Morgan's recent debate with a host of different people on the panel. Candace Owens, being one of my favorite, is also on the panel, as well as another guy from the Young Turks. I forgot his name, and I don't typically follow the Young Turks because I don't agree with their ideology. They're so far left that I can't really get behind them. Not only morally, but also faith. So I can't really support them in what they talk about and what they do. So, but heated debate. So let's get into this thing. We're going to cue the Denzel. Come talk to the people, Denzel. Let's get it.
Is the sheep preaching hate when he says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore? If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent, or is the wolf violent? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop him. Do whatever you have to do to stop him. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back, so now he's teaching him. He's violent.
Wow, okay, we got it. Let's get it, yo. All right, so we got Piers Morgan's the guilt. Let's go ahead. We're going to get a couple of spots that we're going to go ahead and talk about in this particular debate. Y'all just let me know what your thoughts is in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about all of this, right? Because listen, I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring commentary, untruth, unraw, and uncensored. Let's get what we can get done. This is YouTube, so let's keep it realistic, right? Shit, we can only go so far, but let's say what we gotta say. Let's see what we gotta do here. All right, let me go ahead and make this a bit bigger for you. All right, hopefully that's big enough, because if it ain't, let me know. Let me know in the comment section below. That should be good enough. All right, let's get it, y'all. Let's get it, y'all. I ain't gonna be too picky. Let's get it. Let's get it. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing rocking and rolling, y'all. Boom. All right.
No matter what happens in the next 4 months, a new president will be sworn into office in January next year. Just one day after a second attempt to assassinate Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton said this.
And I don't understand why it's so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is. The late, great journalist, Harry Evans, one time said that, journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump, his demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world, and stick with it.
Well, that narrative is dubious, and the timing was appalling. The media can be accused of many ill deeds, but failing to have a consistent narrative about Donald Trump is not one of them. This montage has now been viewed more than 30 million.
So let me say this, right, real quick, before we get further into this thing. First of all, what danger is coming from Donald Trump? When he took his 4 years in office, we weren't in any real major wars just based on resources or based on the war machine wanting to spread propaganda or earn some sort of monetary value or resource, right? We weren't in that sort of economic decline as we are currently. Both things we're currently facing and dealing with. And so what I'm trying to understand is what is her angle when she say all of this, right? When she's saying all of this, what is her angle? She's promoting something like she's promoting people to act, right? There's been 2 assassination attempts, and in my opinion, I believe that these 2 assassination attempts are based on individuals who think that they're doing the world a favor by trying to remove Trump from the presidential election. And not only that, gain notoriety or some sort of fame from it because the other guy had a GoPro on his chest. So who's influencing this whole thing, the narrative of trying to assassinate a man for wanting the country to progress or to grow, or just because he's running for president? He's never posed any real threat to anyone that I've seen. But let's continue.
Million times in the aftermath of the attempted shooting. Excuse the poor quality, but the point is obvious.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there is unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
They go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right, to the right.
Well, the full version goes on and on and on. Of course, it's not difficult to find examples of Donald Trump saying outrageous things too. But there's no real value in me highlighting them because they play on the biggest TV news shows all day, every day. We've already seen them. Everybody has. And right now it's Democrats pushing the narrative that Trump, and only Trump, is to blame for the simmering and in some cases exploding tensions in American politics. Those tensions have almost got him killed, not once but twice in just 2 months. Surely enough is now enough. There are many unanswered questions about Donald Trump's security. There's a very live debate about who is to blame for this dangerously febrile atmosphere and what should be done about it. There are questions too about an all-out war in the Middle East after Israel seemingly ignored the United States to launch an audacious attack on Hezbollah. 12 people are dead, including a child. Almost 3,000 were injured after pagers used by Hezbollah were remotely detonated inside Lebanon. Now even more blasts are hitting Beirut, with reports of an explosion at a funeral and hundreds injured by exploding walkie-talkies. We'll discuss it all with tonight's panel. I'm joined by the host of the Candace Owens Show on Spotify and Rumble, Candace Owens, the founder and CEO of the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, and former Navy SEAL, author and founder of military contractor Blackwater, Erik Prince. Well, welcome to all of you. Cenk Uygur, there's a lot going on. I mean, the news cycle right now feels slightly insane. You know, you've got Donald Trump nearly assassinated again, twice in 2 months now. You've got apparently Israel launching this extraordinary attack across the whole of Lebanon on thousands of Hezbollah terrorists and, of course, wounding and potentially killing as well civilians in the process. So there's a lot to unpack here. What do you make of it?
Okay, first of all, on Donald Trump, what do you want me to do? The guy did a coup attempt. He had fake electors, not even his own electors. You have your own slate of electors. He didn't use them because they said this is unconstitutional and illegal. You lost the election. And he said, all right, they get in fake electors. Let's do a coup attempt here. Let's have them bum rush the Capitol. And then that'll create enough confusion that we can bring it back to the states and the Republicans will cheat for us. They even wrote it in a book. Then he said we should terminate the Constitution because he lost the election. So what do you want me to do, Piers? The guy hates democracy. He's a dictator wannabe. So, okay, should you shoot at him? Of course not. Any action that is physical like that or violent is a surrender in the intellectual field of debate and ideas. So it's a terrible idea. It's immoral, etc. But I'm not going to let up on Donald Trump for 1 second rhetorically, because he is a monster. And he tried to terminate our Constitution. He tried to steal an election. I've never seen anyone so despicable in American politics. And by the way, there's another reason why I'm angry at him, because I'm a populist. And he took populism and he perverted it to just turning into his own personal con. He's such a slimy con man. I loathe him. Everyone should vote against him. He's one of the worst people I have ever seen in politics, and I'm not going to let him terminate the Constitution or destroy this democracy.
You see, what I find extraordinary, Cenk, is you haven't even given it a beat since he nearly had his brains blown out on Sunday on a golf course, which came 2 months after...
Did he give a beat, Piers? Did he give a beat? Did he ever give a beat when he constantly talks about violence? Hey, if someone takes out somebody from with a stretcher, I'll pay the legal bills. Attack people. Oh, my political opponents, I'm going to jail them. I'm going to attack them.
Well, to be clear, hang on. To be clear, you're trying to equate him making a joke about maybe slapping or punching someone in the crowd who's abusing him. With someone,
can I make a joke
with
about
someone taking an AK
across the face?
Hang on, with somebody
can I make that joke?
With somebody
can I make that joke, Piers?
Somebody actually shooting him on a rally stage and then very nearly shooting him on a golf course with an AK-47. Do you not see the difference?
So, Piers, those are terrible actions. So what I'm asking you a literal question. What do you want me to just go?
Could you get a beat?
Now,
the simple justification of anything he just made in regards to Trump making jokes at his rallies of people who are maybe being rude or disrespectful while he is giving a speech when they should be showing decorum is absolutely amazing to me. This is the reason why I do not subscribe to Young Turks, because they got a bunch of buffoons like this guy, like just running their mouth, just saying a bunch of nonsense, talking a bunch of shit. But I don't understand what, maybe my mind is wired differently. But when I hear Kamala Harris speak about the things that she's wishing to implement, it doesn't really resonate with me. Not only do I believe that she's not being genuine, but I also truly identify that, she don't care in the world as to what would happen to this country. She mostly just cares about what happens to her, the lining of her pockets, whether it grows or not. And that's the only thing she's ever cared about. So much information is coming out about Kamala Harris that is ridiculous. And I'm not surprised that she's running with the Democratic Party, who in large are crooks mostly. You know what I'm saying? So I can't blame them for having her a part of the party. I can't blame them for having her a part of the race. Listen, I can't blame him for even supporting her. He's so far left that he has no other choice. They pay him to support her. So allegedly, right? Because I'm not too sure about that, but I'm pretty sure that they would have. If you can get behind her, she's gotta be lining your pockets with something, okay? And that's just what it is. However, an attempt on anyone's life is unacceptable. You know what I mean? You should automatically come out and say that this is unacceptable and it should never have happened. Instead, he continues to go on and on about how Trump should have said certain things different. Well, I mean, I believe that we all should show some decorum and be respectful and allow a man to speak when he's speaking. So, no need to get excited, okay? So simmer down, sir. No need to get excited. Let's get back to it.
Donald Trump is good. Hold on, let me finish.
On a human level,
Donald Trump's a good guy. Donald Trump loves democracy. Donald Trump's still the same monster he was yesterday. So I hate that people are shooting at him. It's so dumb. It's immoral. It's wrong.
Why would you be surprised?
I can't condemn it any stronger.
Why would you be surprised?
I'm not going to tell you that Donald Trump is a decent man.
But Cenk,
when
why
he's
would
a
you
grotesque human being?
Why would you be surprised that people are taking drastic?
So many different accusations that's being levied toward Trump when his track record has proven otherwise. I don't understand why it's just so much that they're saying to paint him out to be this evil individual when, I don't believe that he's enacted any policies to imprison, women, black women in particular for trying to take care of their sick child, and they had to miss a few days of school because they may have had sickle cell anemia. I don't believe that Trump implemented anything in regards to that, as far as trying to impose the government onto the people. You know what I mean? I believe that the least amount of government is the best amount of government. And if you're enforcing things that you do not own, you do not own the people. You understand? The people own you, government. You all are public servants. You are not dictators. You're not people who can rule over individuals here in this country. You are here to protect our borders and protect our property. That's the only thing that you're here for. But for you to implement policies to imprison or black women for their child missing days of school because they're sick is absolutely disgusting. But let's get to it. Let's get back to it, y'all.
Unhinged people with unhinged brains who are listening to constant rhetoric from people.
You didn't answer the question.
Well,
what do you want me to do? You want me to politically surrender, right?
I'm asking you a question. Do you not consider for a moment that within 48 hours you're still saying monster, demagogue, dictator, blah,
yes,
blah, 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 blah?
Because that's who he is.
Yes, but this is what
so you want me to lie.
Yeah, because
Here's, tell me this.
Because
do you want me to lie?
Let me finish. The shooter at the golf course, specifically in his recent social media posts, parroted Kamala Harris, saying that he was effectively an existential threat to democracy in America. You're doing the same. Does nothing make you pause?
You're insane.
Hillary Clinton's doing the same.
Trump does it 2,000 times worse.
Because you think he does it.
Your great idea is Democrats shouldn't campaign against your beloved Donald Trump because some moron, mentally unstable guy took a shot at him. Okay, or two of them did. You know what? I can protect Donald Trump. Ban assault weapons. That'll protect Donald Trump way more than any of, say nice things about him now that some lunatic took some shots at him. Here, let me be super clear. If you're on the left, I know the right-wingers love their guns and Second Amendment remedy, and they've been riled up to do violence nonstop. If you're on the left and you do any violence, you are not one of us. You're a stupid person who does nothing but make a worthy cause look immoral with your insanity. Never do violence. Is that clear enough?
Or maybe when they constantly hear on the airwaves people like you and Hillary Clinton and others constantly depicting Trump as an existential threat to democracy in America.
Piers, you're totally guilty. You're guilty. You're guilty. Because you support Donald Trump. You know it. You don't even run it on.
Now listen, you can make this. They know that they're going to lose on a certain point. This is what they do. They loudly and talk over the individual and cut them off while they're making a point. Before they can bring that point home, they feel they want to intercept. This is called an interception. You want to intercept their speech so they can be able to prolong the point that they're making. So they can't really bring it home full circle, and it won't have the same impact as it would if you were not interrupting. Now, he had a complete and clear point. It was obvious. Yes. If you guys were not spinning the narrative that Trump was this evil dictator, Hitler, who's going to enslave black people, when obviously he's done a lot for the black community and even has spent a hell of a lot of time with the black community. Now let's go back to his presidential campaign, for the 4 years that he was in office, which had not done anything to affect the black community. In fact, it was a lot implemented to help black business be able to help to proceed and to progress and thrive. You understand what I'm saying? So we need to get facts here. We need to get facts. We don't need to have bullshit, whatever they feel. Whatever your feelings are, we don't need that. We need facts.
Okay.
You won't even run it on this show because Donald Trump, what he says is so much worse than anything a Democrat has ever said about him. So you won't even run it on this show. So that's it. Are you telling Donald Trump, you better shut up? You better not say any of those gross things that you always say. You know that he joked about smashing Nancy Pelosi's husband's head in with a hammer.
Yeah, and the truth
One
is,
of his
Cenk,
lunatic fans tried to murder Nancy Pelosi's husband, and he's like, it's so funny.
Here's
Do
the
you
problem.
know that when they try to murder his vice president,
Here's the problem,
he then
Cenk.
turned around and said he deserved it.
Here's the problem.
He's a psycho,
Here's
and
the
you defend
problem.
him every day, Piers.
Here's the problem. You have no idea what I've said about Trump when he's done these things. If you had, you wouldn't accuse me of not talking about them, because
So are
I
you telling
always
him
do.
to shut up?
Because I always do.
Are you telling him to shut up?
I want to bring in Candace Owens here. Candace, look, we're 48 hours after the latest assassination attempt, and I'm listening to another liberal who I respect, I've had Cenk on a lot on the show, absolutely losing his mind about how despicable Donald Trump is and what a threat he is and a danger and so on and so on. Exactly the kind of rhetoric that Trump has said he believes is fueling these people to try and kill him. What do you make of where we are with this?
What I make of all of this is that if you are going to legitimately tell people that someone is a monster, that somebody is a dictator, that somebody is literally Adolf Hitler, if you're going to tell people that this person is a constant threat, why wouldn't somebody try to eliminate that threat? That would actually be a sensible thing for somebody to do if they believe the rhetoric that is coming out of people's mouths. Now,
Then
if
all
this
of the
had
right
happened
wing
and
is
it was
guilty,
flipped,
including you, Candace.
Cenk, you just
You're all
spoke for a
guilty.
very long
You've
time.
done
Candace finish,
10,000
please.
times
You're
worse than
gonna
you
have to
know.
learn how to control yourself.
Cenk.
Cenk, you're going to have to learn how to control yourself. I know it's very difficult for you, but you just had a very long time to speak and we were quiet. I promise you can do that. You need to sit on your hands, then you should do that. As I was saying, if this situation had been reversed and I had just watched somebody try to shoot Kamala Harris, I would be definitively saying how wrong it was. I would be saying to people that despite the fact that I do not want her to be president, of course, she is not so much of a threat that she needs to be shot. They don't stop this rhetoric because they do not want these assassination attempts to stop on Donald Trump. And I want to be very clear. The circumstance that we find ourselves in the West is one of remarkable privilege. And when you're in times of remarkable privilege, it creates actually an issue of having a lot of weak men, right? Weak men are the ones that are going out here claiming that Donald Trump is a threat, proclaiming that Donald Trump is somebody that is a dictator because they've never really looked in their lives. And you're about to see that example right now, the demeanor between Cenk and so I was talking to somebody who has seen real conflict and understands what real threat is. Right? Threat. Cenk is somebody that grew up obviously with a silver spoon in his mouth. He's never had to fight for anything in his life and has never had to put his life before somebody else's. It's very easy for him to behave like this, to behave demonstrably like a toddler who is throwing his toys out of the pram when he doesn't get what he wants. And so he heightens his rhetoric and says, why am I not getting what I want? This man's a dictator. This man's a threat. And he's not being realistic. And it's embarrassing to our country, whether it was a person on the right or the left.
You guys haven't addressed it at all.
Cenk, I promise you are capable of
He wants to
controlling
terminate the
yourself
Constitution,
for
so you
3
like
minutes
that?
as somebody else speaks.
Let me bring in Erik. Erik, you are a former Navy SEAL.
And a patient.
And a very patient former Navy SEAL, yes. You know, when I look at what's happened here, there are lots of strands to what's going on. And we'll come to the security aspect around Trump, which I find pretty scary, actually, that twice people have, with extraordinary ease, got into positions to assassinate him in the space of 8 weeks, which I just find quite remarkable and shocking and shameful, and a disgrace that the Secret Service has allowed that to happen. But before we get to that, this whole...
They saved his life.
Well, they didn't save his life. They put him in a position where his life nearly got taken. That's the truth. I mean, because they didn't even check... They didn't even check the perimeter of the golf course before he was exposed for 4 hours on that course 8 weeks after he was shot. It is unbelievable that anyone from the Secret Service would claim anything but a...
All right, y'all. So we pretty much got the gist of what's going on here so far. If you want to watch the full interview, the full scope of the interview, please go over to Piers Morgan's channel. There's another snippet that I would love to review on this particular debate as well. But this is the first opening to what we need to have, what the message that is being relayed from the far left. Okay. And then so the message is this, right? And y'all see me. Listen, you know, I just doing equipment things. But, you know, as far as my camera and things like that, I'm just doing equipment things, trying to get it situated. However, back on topic, right? It's obvious, right? It's very obvious as to what position they are taking. They're taking a position of, well, who cares about what Trump has endured? Who cares about what's going on? Trump is this horrible human being who doesn't care anything about people, who's going to take away democracy, who's going to take away our freedoms in this world, which simply does not, it just, nothing that has is true about the statements that they're making. Everything that they're saying is false indeed. It's been 4 years that he had an opportunity to do something, to take away some sort of liberties. As you can hear him speak about the right wing, so-called right wings, right? He's a leftist, about how we do cherish our Second Amendment rights. And that is correct. Yes, we do believe in the rights to bear arms, in which any individual who's looking to have some sort of tyranny or reign over you, they don't want you to have the opportunity to protect yourself or the ability to defend yourself. They want you to have they want you to be fully relying on them, which means you can't grow your own crops, you can't harvest your own rainwater, and you can't defend your own land. That's what they're looking for. That's what they want if they want to systematic control you as a man or as a woman. If they want systematic control over you, then that's what they're looking for. There's nothing else that they're looking to do. And as you can hear his rhetoric, you can hear his speech, his manner of what he's saying, you can hear that he does not care about the people at all. He doesn't care about you being able to defend your lands. He don't care about you being able to grow your own crops, being self-sufficient. Only thing he really cares about is the intergovernmental system and it having its way. Now, that will also be the assassination of Donald Trump. Obviously, somebody has put a hit out on Donald Trump at least twice now. And they have not been successful at least twice now. And the Secret Service has failed at least twice now. What is the real problem here? What is the thing that we're really seeing here? You have to really question this and ask yourself, listen, I'm a melanated man. I'm black, obviously. Obviously, I'm defending Donald Trump in this whole matter. So obviously, black people aren't against him, right? Not all of them. The ones who are awake and understanding and seeing the hypocrisy that's coming from the other side, they know that they need to have somebody other than what the Democrats want. And Democrats want Kamala Harris, a person who has a track record of destroying communities and families. So what would you want to do in this matter, in this situation? Me personally, I'm going to choose the lesser of the two evils, and I'm going to go with somebody who's going to represent this country respectfully, right? And my thing is this: if you're not into politics, then you don't have to be into it. But depending on this will determine what type of fight you're going to have to fight when it comes to the end times and days, whatever it may be. What type of fight you're going to have to fight, and at the end of the day, it's all up to what happens. And I can't say that the call all boils down to the people, because there is electoral votes, and I do believe that it could be a selection. That is not a election, but it's a selection. However, all I know is that it should be an uprising. It should be a revolt if Kamala Harris is in office. It should be a Boston Tea Party. You feel me? So hopefully you guys got a little something out of this particular video. Listen, I'm just going to bring the truth to you. You know, as you can see what's going on here, you form your own opinions. I'm going to do a second half to this. But I appreciate you guys joining me here on the War Sheet Podcast. This is your host, Barack. Please comment and subscribe, right? And share this with whoever else you need to share this with. Just pay attention to how these people are speaking and what they're saying and how they're moving. And like I said, if you want to catch the full video or catch the full debate, just please go over to Piers Morgan's channel. I'm going to bring a part 2 here. All right, y'all. Peace and shalom. War Sheep. Your host, Barack, and I'm out. Peace.